What's going on, everybody? Your two favorite Pandora enthusiasts are back tonight. And that's right, we are back in a big blue way. Me and Uncle Kev tonight. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's up? What's going?
We've been excited to finally share our thoughts with everybody and
Yes.
with each other about this film. Making it back to the cinema. James Cameron's like magnum opus, his trilogy here, the third film in the trilogy, and has a lot at stake for theaters and, the movie going public. He stated that it needs to make, a shit ton basically in order to keep this franchise going. We'll see if that happens. I know it's already crossed the
Oh
billion-dollar
yeah.
mark at the box office, so I'm sure it probably will. But, coming off of Way of the Water, this is the third film in the trilogy. Originally, this was one big film, but they sort of separated two and three out. And me and Kev are back to talk about Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
So, as Henry said, the this was one big movie that Cameron split into two. So, in the events of Way of Water, I forgot, and we both said that we forgot all the characters' names. I remember
Right.
one of the children died in that one, and you kind of open up the movie with that. And Neytiri, who is Zoe Saldana, she has just a really big distrust of humans, especially Spider, which was the human it's kind of a tag along in their little group or little family. And they decide, okay, we know Spider should be taken back to the lab with his fellow humans. He's too much of a risk for us. And on the way, they cross paths with Varang, who is, I'd say, like from the volcano people. Would you say that was cool?
Yeah.
She is a conqueror. We'll talk about her. Personally, that was my favorite part of the movie. But she teams up with Stephen Lang, and they kind of have a partnership and a little bit of romance. And I'm like, it's getting pretty freaky on Pandora points, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. We don't want to give everything away because people are still seeing this thing. It's number one. I
Yeah.
think it may hold on for another weekend. And it's just funny because no one really talks about these movies like they would do a Marvel or a Batman or any other big franchise. But these things still make millions of dollars, and every time I go to the theater, because I go to the theater a lot in on the weekends, it's sold out. And I just as a theater guy, it makes me happy because people are still going to the movies, and
Mhm.
I think we agree, man, that Cameron can still do it. Cameron still delivers, and he delivers with this film big time.
Big time. Yeah, this is more, of a movie going, cinematic experience than other movies. This to me feels more almost like a ride in a way, like a
Yeah.
kind of 4D trip to another planet.
Yes.
And Cameron really, as we had mentioned before, he really shows off in, this format here. You know, Going back to the first film in 2009, it was all cutting edge,
Yes.
the best of the best 3D CGI, going into that movie theater and experiencing that for the first time was really like being transported to another planet, and coming back all this time later, almost 20 years later for part three, it still retains that magic. And he definitely pushes the envelope of what can be done. And, with, exploring other parts of Pandora that we haven't seen before, and specifically with this third film, introducing us to like a new tribe of the Na'vi that aren't, one with the earth, with Awa,
Yeah.
like we're used to seeing with the others. And these are like some really violent, vicious, Na'vi. And it sets up some really awesome, epic battles, and really ups the stakes. I felt like Way of the Water, um, the RDA, when they moved in and sort of started to wage war, that, rose the stakes. But this one's a whole nother ballgame because it's Navi. They are familiar with this planet. They know how to use that to their advantage. And it really leads to some, perilous scenes with, Jake and his family. And, you really feel that throughout the film. Like there's a sense of danger. And when Varang hits the screen, and eventually teams up, like you mentioned, with Colonel Quaritch there. It leads, to some really awesome action scenes and the tension that just builds throughout this movie. And of course, it's a James Cameron Avatar film, so it's going to be over 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But as you're sitting there, it doesn't really feel like that.
No.
Usually there isn't really a lull in the action. If there is, it's short-lived and you're going right from action set piece to the other.
Yeah, on top of the Pandora, I know, and the designs of the Navi, I really like the design of the weapons and like this, the machines that come off that human ship. Like it looks like one looks like a crab,
Yeah.
and they have swimming abilities, and it's damn impressive what he does. And this is like not based on anything. This is all him, and I hope he does finish it out because there are rumors that he may walk away from it because I think he wants to make the Hiroshima movie pretty badly. And I hope he sticks with it because yeah, I he'll oversee it if someone takes it, but it's gonna feel completely different. It won't have that
Yeah.
100% magic. I know you have kids. Like, did your kids like it?
Yes. Yeah, he really loved it. You know what he actually said to me that I was surprised? He said it was almost too much action. Like there was
Wow.
yeah. And that surprised me. He's 8 years old.
Oh
So,
yeah,
but I also asked him, I was like, was that, what'd you think of that? And he said, yeah, that was like almost like being on a 4D ride because
yeah.
we had done one of those before too. And we'd also seen the How to Train Your Dragon in 4D when we were on vacation. So yeah, he definitely, yeah, he actually said it was almost too much
Oh
for
wow.
him, like too much for his senses. I think he was like, blown away and almost too much sensory overload for him. So if that gives you any idea,
Did you
yeah,
see this in IMAX 3D?
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yes,
same here, same
yeah,
here. Because I
yeah.
kind of want to go back maybe and watch all these on like maybe my phone or a really small television. I want to see if
See
it
if it has that
same way.
same impact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I want to talk about her, Una Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. I did not know that until like recently, and I think she was incredible as Varang. She was sensual, she was feral, and she was dangerous. A lot of sometimes, I like Marvel, but some of their female villains, they just don't know how to write a good female villain. I think Cameron, despite some of the screenplay aspects that I kind of like disagreed on, I thought she was brilliantly written and brilliantly performed. And I really liked the relationship between her and Stephen Lang's character. I thought it was very well done. And do you remember the who got drugged? I think Stephen Lang's character got drugged in the movie by her.
yeah, the
And that
hallucination. Yeah,
that was incredible. I
that
was
was
talking to my
amazing.
friend,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is amazing. This is something that it's not action; it's just establishing character and mood, and I loved it. And I hope she comes back. I'm not going to spoil it, but I hope she does come back. And I liked the family aspect of the movie. I liked how they all worked together. And some of the lines were cheesy, and some of the delivery. I don't know who the guy who plays Spider is, but he's okay. Some of the lines are said very like forcefully with the comedy.
Yeah,
But I like the dynamic and how they all work together. And Sigourney Weaver's great. She's playing like maybe 13-year-olds. That
I
girl's
think
13.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
And
around
I thought
there.
she was convincing, 13-year-olds and like I think she's like 60 years old. Different movements, and I think she captures what it is to be like optimistic and one with the earth
Yeah,
that she is. And
that sense of wonder's there for
yeah,
sure.
I forgot about all their gifts and how they are connected to the earth, and especially Sigourney Weaver's character. She can talk to anything if she attaches the hair braid. And
Yeah.
it's just a really thought out world, and he nails it. He's great. It's a really fun time. I really like this movie.
It definitely, oh yeah, it's a great experience that you have to see in cinemas for sure.
Yes.
See it in 3D because you're not going to have the same experience if you don't. You got to unlock everything that he has to offer and that he's thought up here. Like you mentioned, the character of Varang and Quaritch together, the two of them were great. That was a great combination. But her alone, yeah, I felt that too. Like, yeah, like you mentioned, feral, you were scared, you believed in her like side of the story, like where she's coming from too. She had a reason to
Yeah.
be like that, to be standoffish, that, her tribe had a reason to be like they were to, and, Jake and his family there too. and the family aspect. That's something that all three of these films have relied upon. And this one amped that up too. You got that sense they had just lost one of their kids. And, with all the danger that was coming at them here, if they would have lost another one, it would have just, broke the family there. And Neytiri, the whole film here, she was feeling that loss. And at moments, it felt like she was going to come unglued and basically was just going to kick Spider out. And she didn't care at that point.
Yeah,
And it took like the whole movie for for him to come back and for her to start believing and remembering. And I loved that ending, what they did with that character.
yeah.
And, that had an impact on me. And that alone, among all the other things that this movie did very well, makes me want to see, the next one. And
Yeah, I hope he. Yeah, there's supposed to
yeah,
be five, right?
I think so. Yeah, he had planned at least until five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he hasn't filmed any of the new ones, right? I just
I think he's filmed a little bit of four supposedly, but not much more. So yeah,
and I love the water. I love like the beach scenes. Like like I'm a water guy. I like swimming. I like going to the beach, and it's a visual feast. It's candy for the eyes. This entire movie. Like there was not one aspect of this movie or second of this movie where I wanted to look away from the screen. It's just beautiful. Everything, the lighting, even the way I think I mentioned this in the Way of Water review like 3 years ago. I just love the way the water drips off their skin. It's so goddamn convincing. And he has more money. He can improve the technology. I can't imagine where it's going to go now. Like next, I can't.
yeah. I want to see where he's going to take this next. Because he's been hinting about this, the next couple of movies. He said, up to three. It's this story that we've had, but he said, hopefully I get to do four and five because he's been teasing that he's going to take this franchise to somewhere where we haven't been yet. I mean, it's going to be in the same planet, obviously, but it's going to be, something different. And I want to see something different. This felt like a nice trilogy. This felt like it ended this part of the story, but it feels like there's so much more to tell now. These kids are going to grow up, it'll probably take place a couple of years in the future. Where's Jake going to be at, now? There's a bunch of things that I'd love to see continued here. In this third film, there's a there are quite a few things that get rehashed that we've seen before. It's not all fresh and
Oh yeah,
exciting. There's things that you've seen before, but taken as a whole with these three films, this felt like it was the rightful conclusion to this trilogy, and I don't think he could have ended the trilogy much better than this. This had everything that you could possibly ask for in a film here. Just the whole epic feeling to it, the look of it, the action scenes, everything was amazing. Like you mentioned, the hallucination scene there with Quaritch and Ray, that was awesome.
love that scene.
Something I hadn't seen before. Just every little detail in this film, man. How long did it take him to make this movie? Just over, he's been thinking about this and working on this for 20 plus years now. So it just awesome detail and, doing things that only James Cameron can do in a film. And he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Like you mentioned, this is a franchise that's kind of overlooked and like, yeah, it's the blue people. It definitely doesn't get the love it deserves, but I think it will one day. I think once time goes by, and I think it will because
Yeah,
it's definitely
uh,
something.
once it finishes, and yeah, as you just said, as time goes by, like people are gonna look back and like not realize how good they had it, and because people say it's overrated, and I'm like, it's not overrated. It's a non-comic book property. It's an original thought, and it's just done in the most spectacular way possible. With that, I'm gonna give this one like 4.5 out of 5 Pandora hair pieces. I want to go back. Please,
Yeah,
let's go
take me
back.
back. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I definitely want to go back. I'd definitely go see this one again too in the theaters. I don't know if I'll get a chance to, but yeah, it's definitely is made for repeat viewing and definitely made for IMAX 3D if you can see this on the biggest
Yes.
screen possible. This
Yes.
is just an awesome experience. If you don't like the Navi and all that, just go in and just experience this movie. It's even if you don't like the Navi themselves and the blue people, just watch what he does with the special effects and everything in this movie. It just blows you away every time. I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm going to give Avatar Fire and Ash 4.5 out of 5 Varang hair pieces. So we want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Avatar Fire and Ash if you've gotten a chance to see it? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe. Also, make sure to follow along with these Navi enthusiasts. You can follow along with us on our website, Cinephellas.com, on all our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and X, and where we also post all the latest and greatest in TV, movie news, and reviews. So that's been me and Uncle Kev's review of Avatar Fire and Ash. And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to go back to Pandora here in a few years' time.
Hopefully,
We'll see if it happens.
important. Not, you don't have to wait 9, 10 years for this.
Yeah, no kidding. We're going to be old men by then. So thanks for watching our review of Avatar Fire and Ash. And until the next Cinephellas movie review, I am Uncle Henry.
Okay.
Cheers.